How to Create a Glitch Monologues Season 39 Chapter 1. This is Season 39 of How to Create a Glitch in the Matrix Monologues Episode 1. In this episode, we will be talking about the lineal transmission of physical territoriality pursuant to an archetypal tonic. To start out, in Episode 1 of Season 38, we intimated that physical territoriality could be reflected in common mirror neuron activation as between lineally related individuals. The idea was, to quote Episode 1 of Season 38, "Now, it is also true that the mirror neuron system identifies intentionality. That is to say, when we watch someone perform some motor task, we don't just experience common motor activation through the mirror neuron pathway, we also experience the intentionality of the movement. This means that there is a common space of intentionality associated with two interacting people. Our self-concept is broad enough to incorporate some element of territoriality created by common intentionality. Meaning, that if you are standing proximate to some other, in the same space, the inference of intention through mirror neuron activation produces a subliminal recognition of the other's physicality. If the other moves into a physical space, then our movement into that same space is impeded by a conflict in our projection of the other's intentionality as represented by the mirror neuron system within our own mind. Now, this common space of intentionality is predicated upon a common genetic heritage and a common epigenetic, environmental niche. The idea is that if two people are lineally related, the passing of territoriality intergenerationally within a single genetic line promotes mirror neuron activation as well when around lineally related individuals. A common genetic heritage combined with a common environmental niche promotes acquisition of reinforcement, mirror neuron activation corresponding to a common genetic heritage and epigenetic niche. The point being, that the archetypal tonic carries the capacity for passing territoriality lineally as well as patriarchally. Thus, families, or even patrilineal lines, can generate archetypal territorial plates, rather like tectonic plates. The origin of familial cannibalization with closed social systems within the family generates appropriation of territoriality within the family. Encounters with lineally related individuals can generate a similar pattern of passing of territoriality, preserved by common mirror neuronal activation. In other words, these lineally related individuals do not even have to know that they are related for this to work. They merely need to be proximate in the same epigenetic or environmental niche. Note that since the archetypal alignment which generates passing of territoriality down intergenerationally is the patriarchal alignment of father and son, it must be a patrilineal line in order for it to pass between cousins. But, all of this being said, as originally pointed out, the territoriality is conserved patriarchally through archetypal alignments, not genetics. Territoriality might just as easily be passed to the daughter as to the son, but such a transmission would end a patrilineal line of succession created by a foundational archetypal alignment. Common genetics are merely a requirement for passing of reinforcement from individual to individual in the underlying behavior. They don't carry the territoriality itself. This means, for example, if it were passed from father to daughter, and then daughter to daughter, through another distinct archetypal alignment, that would also function to create intergenerational territoriality along a matriarchal line. The ultimate implications of this is that distinct cultures have established alignments which they utilize to pass territoriality appropriately, enforced through familial cannibalization. But all of these alignments can be overturned by the gradual siphoning of territoriality out of familial lines by damaging the intergenerational passing of territoriality through archetypal alignments. Sever the alignment and you spill the territoriality for anyone with the capacity to retain it through some parallel but unrelated archetypal line. That's the end of the podcast for today. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe.